I don't know exactly where I should begin. All I know is that I've always felt very alone when I was a little boy. I don't know when this feeling actually started. All I know is that I've always had it. In spite of being surrounded by 1,200 people now, I still feel alone. I was the youngest and baby boy with 3 older sisters. My mother always told me,
you were what your dad always wanted.
By the time I was old enough to really know anything, all the girls were already gone out of the house. I remember feeling I couldn't wait to be gone too. To say I wasn't loved, I guess would be a lie. I mean, I knew I was loved, but whether or not I felt it or could tell you what love was is another matter. See, I had food to eat, I had clothes to wear, my parents took me places, so I couldn't figure out why the feeling that I wasn't loved. In fact, I was more fortunate than most of the young boys that grew up in the projects. I had 2 working parents that lived in a household. In fact, I was what some people would consider spoiled, meaning I had a little bit of everything I wanted. But tell me, how can a person that has everything he wants have nothing he really needs? What I really wanted, what I really needed, it was for my mom and dad to listen to me, to hear me when I yelled at the top of my lungs, "Mom, Dad, stop fighting!"
You never respect me.
You don't own me, I can do what I want to do.
You never respect me.
You don't own me, I can do what I want to do.
You never respect me.
You don't own me, I can do what I want to do.
Neither Jesus, Allah, or any other God can stop them from arguing. And believe me, I prayed to them all. See, in my home, I learned that love and betrayal work hand in hand. I learned you could not have one without the other. So I learned to take and give love at my discretion. That was how I wanted, when I wanted, and who I wanted to give it to. It was safer that way. Because when Mom and Dad fought, they said things to each other that were disrespectful, intolerable, unloving, unforgiving, and you want me to love? Hell no. Love ain't nothing but a tool that means pain, and I want no part in it. What was wrong with you, Dad? Why did you let her do that? Why did you fight back?
If it wasn't for this boy, I would have been gone.
See, I made it in my mind a long time ago not to let any woman disrespect me the way Mom disrespected Dad. So I ran away. Not physically, because I didn't have a job and I would have starved to death. But mentally. I ran away mentally and detached myself. So I started to hang out with the cool boys. No. No, the ones that always seem to be standing in front of the building with the big JVC radio that never ran out of batteries. Those were the ones that my mom always warned me not to be like. But things had really changed now, and I wanted to be just like them boys. I remember me and my dad used to go out on the weekend shopping. I used to love those days because my dad used to let me drive. I still remember the smell of the raw fish on ice as he picked out saltfish or mackerel for breakfast Sunday morning. I remember one day, Dad directed me down some streets. He told me.
Hey boy, pull over at that house over there.
So I pulled over. I watched my dad get out of the car, knock on the door, and a woman came out. It was my sister's girlfriend, Geraldine. I watched as he talked with her for a while, and I remember Geraldine kept watching me. My father then kissed Geraldine on the mouth, got back in the car, and told me,
well, I'm taking Mom about that,
That's the first time I heard the voice whisper, how could I not tell my mother? And to make matters worse, Geraldine had 2 kids that attended the daycare center where my mother was a bookkeeper. I remember going to my mother's job, waiting for her to get off of work. I would see Geraldine all the time. She wouldn't smile, and neither would I. It was like we kept a dirty secret between us. That's the second time I heard the voice whisper, betrayal. I didn't want to be the cause of my parents fighting anymore, so I said nothing. I heard the voice whisper again, betrayal. There were times in my house when there were moments of peace. That was only when Mom and Dad were both in their rooms with their door shut. But then, suddenly, without warning, I came home one day to find a note from my mom that said,
Your dad had an accident and we're at the hospital.
I ran 4 blocks to the hospital where I found my mother and father sitting in the emergency clinic. My father had a blood-soaked bandage 3/4 of the way up his arm. I looked at his face as my mother explained to me,
He cut his arm at work.
my father was a garment cutter. He used a blade that was 2 feet long. The cut was so deep that it severed some nerves and some tendons. His arm was patched up and we went home. The house was deathly quiet for the next couple of weeks. I actually wanted them to fight because then I'd hear them talking to each other. It never occurred to me that when I saw my father sitting inside the emergency room, that the bandage that he had wrapped around his arm was the same cloth that he carried in his back pocket as a handkerchief. It never occurred to me that if my dad had a cut so deep, how did he ride on an hour train ride from Manhattan to Brooklyn with his arm bleeding like that? I found out many weeks later that Mom had cut Dad in a huge fight with a butcher knife. I heard the voice again, betrayal. In life, they say the first things learned are hardest to forget. And I find that to be very true. And so after many years of failed relationships, more pain, more hurt, what have I learned? If I've learned anything, I have learned that we are all created to love one another. If I have learned anything, I have learned not to blame these things on my parents. If I have learned anything, it's because I have seen too much. And I couldn't go back even if I wanted to. If I have learned anything, I've learned that loving someone is trusting, is giving them the ability to destroy you, but trusting that they won't. If I've learned anything, I'm learned that I'm willing to take that risk.